uparudita. Our minds are so much afflicted by material desires which just lead to constant absorption in matter and all the world that is in front of us with the illusion of trying to enjoy. So this um, predicament can only be resolved by taking shelter of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Without that shelter, Sri Vrindavan Dham means the entirety of Krishna's pastimes. But we can never enter Krishna's pastimes without the mercy of Sachinandan Gaurahari, without his mercy, without coming through his mercy. We described yesterday, Heno Nitai Bine Bai Radha Krishna Paitenai, that by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, then we can actually come to the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna. Yesterday we explained extensively how Mahaprabhu has appeared every 8 billion. From you? Okay. Okay, I will. Thank you. Thank you. So we are appreciating the speciality of this age. Actually, this is considered like the worst of all the different Kali Yugas, but within that Kali Yuga, there is this one good quality, Mahanguna, this Kirtanad Eva Krishnasya. This Kirtan we were describing yesterday is empowered by Mahaprabhu to reveal Sri Vrindavan. And that access comes through observing the life of Mahaprabhu. We described yesterday also how he spent 24 years away from Navadvip itself. And of those 24 years, 6 were spent traveling throughout India and benedicting all of India with so much mercy. And then he spent 18 years in Puri. And of those 18 years, 12 years were spent in intense separation mood within the Gambhira. Gambhira means very deep place. So Mahaprabhu is situated in that place. And day after day, regularly, he didn't go anywhere after that time. In the 6 years that he came back, first of all, then he went to Vrindavan and other pastimes. But in the last 12 years, he was just exclusively trying to fulfill or succeeding to fulfill his 3 innermost desires, to taste that Mahabhav, Madanakya Mahabhav, that Sri Radha was tasting, that Krishna could not access. We have to understand this picture very, very clearly, whose identity, in order to come to Godrum. Godrum is that place on the other side of the Jalangi. If you know, in Navadvip, we have the huge Ganges, Ganga. And then on the other side, from Godrum, is Navadvip, the township of Navadvip. And then, like a V, like this. And in the V is the island of Godrum. It's completely between these two dynamics of Navadvip and Mayapur. Mayapur is the land of Mahaprabhu's birth. It's actually where he manifested his pastimes. And now so much development is actually taking place in Mayapur. But in Godrum, it's very, very simplistic. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes in Jaivadhamma the residents of Godrum, the Vaishnavas of Godrum. He writes actually his presentation of Jaiva Dharma, which is like the law book for us in this age now, is a novel, and it contains the A to Z of all spiritual practices, everything. The first 10 chapters are defining what is material and what is spiritual, what is Naimitika and what is Nitya. Naimitika is temporary. It's just like Bhagavad Gita. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this is the first principle of our spiritual journey, is to be able to discriminate between what is spiritual and what is material. We have to know absolutely. We may know it with our consciousnesses, but do we actually go in that way? When we start to realize that our greatest wealth our greatest value is in appreciating the spiritual reality about my own nature, that I am pure spirit soul. This is described as Antaranga Shakti. I was just saying to Ananta now that Krishna himself has described how inconceivably amazing it is that this lower nature of the inferior energy, the Bahiranga Shakti, has overwhelmed the higher nature. This is inconceivable. How is it that a lower nature can overwhelm the higher nature? Our nature is pure spirit. That is our nature. But we have been so conditioned to try to exploit this material energy. We cannot exploit the material energy without the conception of the false ego, without thinking that I am material. The spirit soul can take no pleasure from this world in any form or shape whatsoever. Family, country, wealth, whatever. The spirit soul is always detached entirely from that. It cannot, spirit cannot enjoy matter. But by nature, we are enjoyers. So by nature, we have to enjoy something. If we're not enjoying spiritual practice, we will naturally seek material pleasure. Automatically, you will die otherwise. You can't. You're our nature. Every step we're taking and breathing, we're thinking, how can I be happy in the next 10 minutes, the next hour, the next month, the next year, the rest of we're searching, calculating, isn't it? Every step we take. But the wise man, if he actually comes to a program like this, that means his heart is in the right place. That means he cannot possibly go away empty handed. He has made the right decision to actually come and honor Thakurji, to hear some Harikatha, to be reminded of his constitutional position, that he is spirit. And it's not so far away. It's as close as the heart, the realization of this. It's not something, oh, next life, next life, next life, so far. It's whenever I choose to actually turn more to the sweetness of Radha and Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan than I am attracted to the gross material world. There's no need to be oppressed by this material world. We may have to perform all kinds of karmic activities in the world. Yes, you cannot avoid your karma. But always we should cultivate this sanctuary, which is a little bit breath between this hard material inferior energy and my true spiritual nature. And the more I study, the more I hear, the more I take shelter of the medicine, which is chanting, the more I take shelter of the Vaishnavas, the more I take shelter of the holy Dham. These types of shelter are going to give us so much sukriti, and we should be sukriti seekers. We are seeking that sukriti somehow or other. We want to build on those sanskars in this birth. Pray constantly that Krishna will guide us to the higher consideration and not taking this lower, easy. It seems to be, Gurudev said one time in Vilap Kusumanjali, he said, it seems that my mind and heart are on one side, and Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra are on the other. I want to go to a movie. I want to take this ice cream. I want to do something that is good for my senses. I want to lie in the sun somewhere in some nice ocean place. Something. But actually, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra are encouraging another direction. So that is our dilemma. We are caught in midstream. Every minute of the day almost, until our nishta becomes so fixed. What is the meaning of nishta? It is that place of consciousness when I cannot withdraw my mind from Krishna. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to see something as separate from Krishna. And there are many old devotees who also don't know how to see anything as separate from Krishna, but still then juice is not coming. Is true or not? Even we may understand all these things, but where is the juice coming? The juice must come from taking the entrance, we can say portal or window that Mahaprabhu has opened for us easily to access Sri Vrindavan Dham. And that Sri Vrindavan Dham ultimately is accessed through Srimad Bhagavatam, because we've described in the last 2 days many aspects we've touched on Srimad Bhagavatam. There's this very beautiful verse that I've been wanting to say for many weeks now, but there was no time. But Vishnu Chakrabarti Thakur, he has encapsulated the whole vision that these sadhaks should drink into his heart. Aradeyo Bhagavan Rajesha Tanayas Tat Dhamma Vrindavanam. This is saying that Krishna, the son of Nanda Baba, he is the supreme Lord. So that acceptance of Krishna, nobody else, only Krishna, exclusive. If we can be one pointed and not a little bit of Durgama, a little bit of Suryadev, a little bit of Agni, a little bit of Ganeshji, a little bit of Shivji, a little bit of something, they are all servants of Krishna. So first of all, we have to appreciate fully Krishna as that supreme personality. That has to be fully accepted. And then the second line, Ramya Kachit Upasana Vraja Vardu Vargena Vakalpite. This is so beautiful. This is saying, and who performs that upasana? Who performs that worship of that divine personality more than the gopis of Braj, the Braja Ramanis? Gopi Prem, we have described, is our objective. It's not Krishna Prem. We say Krishna Prem. But if you're educated, you understand it's actually Gopi Prem. And these moods of the gopis are soaked throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, especially in the 10th canto, and especially in the center portion of Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. Their extreme surrender, their extreme affection. It's described by Srila Vishnu Chakrabarti Thakur, there is no greater exhibition of love than the gopis in existence. What they actually gave, what they offered to Krishna. We cannot conceive. Maybe we can think, oh yes, I will leave my family, leave this and this, but we can't conceive of the moods of the gopis, of their affection and attraction. So this mood we can absorb through the Bhagavatam. And then the third line of this beautiful verse, Srimad Bhagavatam, Pramanam, Amalam Prema Purnato Nata. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of all the teachings that will lead us into Brajendranandan Shri Krishna and his most worshipable gopis. This is our conception. This is the full conception, just all in one verse. Actually, in our little shloka book, Gurudev is quoted as saying, if we don't know this verse, then we are not really Srila Gurudev's disciples. Very simple verse, very beautiful. Aradeyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tad Dhamma Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasana Braja Vadura Bhagani Bhakalpite Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Purnatona. Now the fourth line is even more exceptional in relationship to this verse that we're looking at, is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mata idam tatadaro naparaha. That this is the opinion of Sachinandan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there we have the whole package, all in one amazing verse. If we have this fully in our pockets, we can never be too much distracted from our royal road, back to our original service to Radha and Krishna. How can we say original? We've never been there, but nevertheless, because we are eternal, it is our original position. This is how we describe it. Never be the slightest disturbed with some groups saying how we fell, we came from this world, or this is complete bogus. And we should know how to express what is the real truth, because in our traveling around, we will meet different people who will have this misconception. And how can we comfortably explain? It's useless just to berate somebody, that doesn't get anywhere, ever. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. You cannot say like that. You have to be a little sensitive to someone's pride. Acknowledge someone's pride. Yes, you are a very special man, etc. The devotees are the best psychiatrists, actually, as well as philosophers and everything. They just know the whole package. Where will you meet people like devotees, you know? If we go in the material world, sometimes I have to stay with my brother. And of course, they're all materialists. I mean, they're vegetarians and very good and so on like this. They do all good deeds and they never kill any animals or they help people. And so, but they're not Hare Krishnas. They don't have the ingredient of actually appreciating their identity as a spirit soul. People can be very nice in the material world. We meet so many nice people, Mr. and Mrs. White, you know, they're very bright and clean, doctors, whatever, you know. But unless they know who they are, what is the value of those good qualities? There's a verse that Bhakti, Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, he says, I've said it before, but I'll say it again because it's beautiful. He says, "Oh brother, when you close your eyes in death, where will your family, friends, relatives, relations all be? Where will your good qualities be?" The purpose of life is not to develop good qualities. Krishna has all good qualities. What are you going to do? Stand in front of Krishna and lay them all out? Look how good I am. I'm so selfless. Don't you know Krishna? I'm so selfless, you know? This is not the purpose in life. It helps because it's the mode of goodness, but it's not our purpose. And then he says, where will your control over others be? I think this is a good sentence for here in Holland, where everyone is, you know, having their own little controlling places. In family life, it's the same thing. There's control over others. Where will all my, what was the last one? I said good qualities already. Where will my good qualities be? Did I say good qualities? All this at the time of death, where will all these assets be? Oh, brother, just see the wealth that lies in your own hand right now and run to Sri Vrindavan Dham. See the wealth, the value that lies within ourselves of our spirit soul is there. All of the wealth in the world is within us. It's all there. It's not we have to actually go so many places to actually get this wealth. But if we find ourselves in the opportunity to stay, we're talking here about Godrum Dweep in Navadweep, living in Navadweep. What? Prabodhananda Saraswati. Sorry, jumped a track. Yeah. He is Tungavidya, of course, Prabodhananda Saraswati, one of the Astasakis. So, how beautiful are his inspirational words to carry us along this remarkable path that we are on. This is our journey. And all empowered by Sri Guru. If each day, Gurudev was once asked, how can we tell if our sambandha with Guru is growing, if our relationship is growing? And the first thing he said was, if you are dying and still in your dying condition, you are thinking of how can I serve Krishna? What is the classic example of this? Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He was leaving his body, and yet he was translating every single day the Srimad Bhagavatam. What could be more exemplary than an act like this? He was leaving his body, and yet he was still trying to optimize or capitalize on that opportunity to render service to Radha and Krishna. Yes, yes, the final instruction. This is the final. So we should consider this. We should remember. We should. Dandavat. Haribol. Haribol. We should remember this point. So that's what Gurudev said first. And then he said, um, at every minute of the day, he said about himself then, I am doing the best service that I'm able to do, but I never feel that I'm actually sufficiently satisfying my guru. You have that mood. I'm never doing enough. And we see, for example, what Srila Gurudev did. Every single day, I was with him so many times, it was like a festival every day of his life. Every day he was bucketing out mercy. Every day when I travel around, I hear so many amazing, beautiful pastimes of my guru, how he helped, how he just glanced at someone, how he spoke to someone. He was only thinking of the welfare of the world in service to his guru, but he never felt that he was doing enough because he realized so deeply with a mood of gratitude that what his guru had given, his guru had taken him across this material boundary, across that Viraja river into the spiritual realm. What does Viraja mean? You know the Viraja river? What does Viraja? Raja means Rajagun, passion, full of desire, the river of desire. So Viraja, without that passion, without that desire, only with the mood to service. So this bhajan is very much also in the same mood of Lalasamayi, of that longing for spiritual emancipation, we can say, as a word. I'll read this. I'm only reading it because I've got the microphone. Otherwise, I would ask you to read, unless you can read very loudly. It's okay. I'll just read it. But I like to hear also your reading. But I have the mic today, so I'm reading. But when, O Master, will you mercifully bestow? I explained yesterday that some of the translations are different. But when, O Master, will you mercifully bestow upon this servant the qualification to fulfill your order? I know the order. Am I qualified to step up to the mark and execute the order? We have heard from Srila Prabhupada. We have heard from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. We have heard from Srila Gokashodas Babaji. We have heard from Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, from Jagannath Das Babaji, from Baladev Vidyabhushan, all our acharyas. We have heard directly. Guru is one. If you had a hologram, you could have Gurudev, and then you could have right behind him Srila Bhakti Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, behind him Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. All the personalities are there. Their teachings are one, but the characteristic is different. Gurudev used to say, same wine, but in different bottles. So don't get hung up too much on the bottle and the differences, because the differences are very external. But the essence of this Aradeyo Bhagavan Brijesha, this verse, this essence is the current. This is the Dhara that is flowing through all of the instructions of the Acharyas. We should take nourishment from all of them. But when, O Master, will you mercifully bestow upon this servant the qualification to fulfill your order? At that time, my mind will be peaceful. I shall tolerate all that happens, and I shall earnestly perform bhajan of Sri Hari. That mentality of being peaceful is simply the mode of goodness. Gurudev used to say, if you're not actually happy, you're not really a devotee. I always used to find that difficult, but it's a fact. If you're not happy, you're not in the mode of goodness. And if you're not in the mode of goodness, then you're in the mode of rajas or tamas. And you can't really perform significant, valuable contribution to the welfare of the world unless you're walking in a mode of goodness. If you have that feeling of gratitude to Guru, what he's given us, then we want to give back. Naturally. If you're feeling like grateful, you naturally want to share that. And you're thinking, you're contemplating all the time how to share it. Not only that, though, but you were contemplating how to actually render pure devotional service to Sri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. So there's two paths going simultaneously. One is actually contributing, and the other is actually developing my own internal mood of Sharnagat, of Seva to Radha and Krishna. Just like in that 5th and 6th verse of Guru Vastakam we sing. What's that? Nikunja Yuna Rati Keli Siddhai. What is the activity of Guru? What activity he's performing in the kunja, trying to arrange for Radha and Krishna to meet each other. This is so exciting. There's always Jyotilas in the way. There's always some, obstacle. And what happens when Radha and actually Krishna, they come together, then so many times Radharani, because all these barbs are just swirling in her heart, and they're very powerful. And sometimes she just wants to run away from Krishna. And she does run away from Krishna. And the other Sakis try to hold her, bring her back. So even though Radha and Krishna have been brought together, still Radharani is sensitive to Krishna. And it takes time to actually get into the comfortable relationship between the two. When Radharani lets her guard down a little bit. And almost immediately, it's described in Vidagdha Madhav, then suddenly Purnamasi will come in. And again, they have to make some space. Or suddenly Mukara will come, the grandmother of Radha will come. So many different circumstances will create the separation again. So this meeting, and so we have that service to bring the divine couple together. This is the service of the sadhak, is to meditate on this. How can I bring Radha? But if we're not really thinking of Radha and Krishna, if we're thinking of our anartas, I said many times before, Gurudev was asked, should we think of our anartas at the time of chanting Hare Krishna? What did he say? Never. No, he jumped. He jumped very strongly. Never. If you think of your anartas while you're chanting, more anartas will come. Just like if you start to talk about ghosts, ghosts will come. It's true. It's a fact. So if you're thinking all the time about how pitiful we are, it's very self-centered for a start. It doesn't really go anywhere. But at the same time, um, it's also negative. You're not allowing the flow, the current, the sweetness, the beauty, the juice to actually enter the heart of Braj Leela. We must go where we can hear this Braj Leela. But this Braj Leela should always be supported by Gauranga Mahaprabhu. If you're just hearing Rasik pastimes, but there's no mood, or we haven't established a platform of Mahaprabhu, then you should be a little bit hesitant about diving in there. If Mahaprabhu is there, no problem, we dive in. Great, we can swim, splash around. He is so merciful. This is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, come to Godrum, come to here. 1 year ago, I would have said, come to Govardhan, but now I'm saying, come to Godrum, because this is what he's saying. It's not me. I shall tolerate all that happens, and I shall earnestly perform bhajan of Sri Hari. Bhajan is our life and soul. It doesn't mean that our material activities are reduced at all. Actually, our material activities become more focused and more successful if you do bhajan. You're given greater wisdom and intelligence and understanding of how to execute your various duties in the world. It's not that, you minimize anything in the world. What does bhajan mean? Bhaje, to serve. This is the meaning of bhajan, to serve. How can I more successfully serve my guru? I think I've mentioned before that one time I was traveling in England and I was making friendships with many, many devotees. And I was feeling very comfortable with all these new relationships and friends. And then as I was chanting one morning, Srila Gurudev came right inside my meditation and said, none of these people love you. I was like, I really understood exactly what he meant. And then 15 minutes later, he came back again in my meditation and said, only I love you. Material love and spiritual adoration. Oh, sorry, material adoration and spiritual love. We are looking to be centerpiece. We are looking to be adored. Do you know what I did last week? I did this and I did that. So much putting my own self in the center. So we are trying to purify ourselves, and we cannot purify ourselves without the ingredient of Gurudev. Without his mercy, we'll never be able to do it. Okay, verse 3. Because I indulged in mundane pleasures during my childhood and youth, my habits have become unfavorable to bhakti due to the reactions of my own misdeeds. This body has become an impediment to performing bhajan. So we have all performed mundane pleasures separately from the Lord, and it has regressed our lives. If you hear the glories of someone like Srila Vamana Maharaj, from his very birth in a Vaishnava family, he was brought up with exemplary qualities and atmosphere all around him. He was able to fully develop his Vaishnavata, that mood of a Vaishnava, with no impediment. But whereas all of us, or most of us, we have had so much difficulties in different situations that we have to struggle through. We should see it now, though, to our advantage, to make us very enthusiastic to actually climb out of this hole and take strong shelter of Guru and come to Vrindavan, come to Navadvip, come to these holy places and joyfully chant Sri Harinam. This is what the last verse is talking. Now, in old age, I have become afflicted with the diseases of the five senses. Sometimes devotees think, oh, I will go to Vrindavan when I become old and retire. Murari, don't think like this. You have to come now while you're young and strong and your mind is good. Don't worry for money or anything. Money miraculously is always there in Vrindavan. The only thing we have to worry about is our enthusiasm to get there. If we're always thinking for that, if that is our focus, whether we go there or not, we are already there. Tannama rupa charitadi sukirtano smitya kramana rasanam nasidyoja tishtem braji tanuragi janugami kalam nayam iti akilam upadesh sharam. This is the essence of instruction, to actually always be meditating on the residence of Braj and to perform bhajan in Braj. This is best. But I remember going to one festival, I think it was in Italy maybe, and Padmanabhan Maharaj was speaking this verse. And he said, Gurudev was sitting there, and he said, if one cannot be in Vrindavan, one can be there by mind. And Gurudev just said, no. Padma Maharaj, he didn't know what to do, but he said it again. And Gurudev again said, no. He said, you should come. You have resources. Why you not come? So Padma Maharaj had to change his delivery. But this is what Gurudev wanted for us. We're talking now how to bring that bhav of Sri Guru strongly, prominently into my vision and heart. He wanted us to associate with that atmosphere of Govardhan, of Radha Kund, of Nandagaon, of Varshana, of Uddhav Kieri, Vrindakund, all these beautiful holy places regularly. Why are we lingering? If we're staying here and we're performing healthy seva, we have some purpose to living here. Definitely. But if we're just staying here because it's quite nice and comfortable and all the taps work and there's a fan in summer and so on, this is, we just becoming more spoiled. And what will happen is when you do get older, and if you attempt at that age to try to live in Vrindavan, you won't be able to make it. I know. It's not easy when the power goes off at the hottest time of day and you're left with a hand fan and all you're blowing on yourself is hot air. Mosquito, it's there. But it doesn't matter if you have this sanctuary inside, if you have this place where Gurudev has, actually, when it's more tough in Vrindavan, it's actually more sweet internally. Many devotees, they stay through the summer months, June, July, August. It's very, challenging. You have to breathe very low breaths. If you take too much, it's too hot air coming inside. But there's special mercy during those times. Actually, wintertime also is, as you get older, the body wintertime is not easy because it does get cold. and how you're going to cope. So start to come regularly. Gurudev would ask us this. I'm only saying it because my Gurudev said so many times, please come to Navadvip Dham. Please come to Vrindavan for parikrama. Every year he would invite us all there. We should feel I'm living here, but I'm connected there. We should feel that connection. And when we feel that connection, we're aware of the entire spiritual kingdom. It's not just the physical, geographical aspect of Braj. It's actually what takes place in Braj. Yesterday, I was describing that beautiful pastime when Krishna leaves Gokul and travels. I didn't complete very much of it, but he travels across the Jamuna. And then they spend time in Vrindavan, the forest of Vrindavan, grazing the cows. And then they they go to Chatikar. Chati means wagon. Kara means a circle of wagons. So they made a circle of wagons there. They lived there for 6 months. Now it's the center place for the roads. Nandavan, Hare Krishna. And then from there, they went on their way to Govardhan. And there's one village called Ral on the way. And after that, there's a village called Vashant. And Vashant is the first place that Krishna goes out grazing the calves. Krishna used to go with his father out into the fields. Nanda Baba would take Krishna when he was very small out into the pastures with the cows. So when he was like 3 or 4, he began to make strong propaganda with his friends that he wanted to go now and take the calves out grazing. Mother Yashoda was adamant, no, never you will go out with the calves. You are my baby, you must stay here. So Krishna had a real challenge on his hands. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, going into months, he was having these whole different dramas, trying to convince his mother to allow him to go. Even then, Nanda Baba decided to call a meeting of all the elder cowherd men. They all sat down to decide, should Krishna take the calves out grazing or not? Upananda, Abhinanda, they all had meeting together. And finally, the elder men, they concluded it's okay if Krishna takes the calves out, just for a little time of the day, not too much. So Krishna was overjoyed. Mother Yashoda, she was so unhappy about this decision, but she saw popular opinion. I must follow along and somehow or other reconcile. So she had to, only mothers can understand what I'm talking about. I don't understand, but mothers can understand. To let their little child go into the dangerous forest where demons are, because already Putana had come, Trinavrata had come, Shakatasura had come. Who was lurking out in that forest? Mother Yashoda was never sure. And then the day came, they picked a very auspicious day when actually Krishna would go. Mother Yashoda, she brought a pair of shoes and an umbrella for Krishna. What happened? Yeah. Give an umbrella to each cow also. And then he's telling his mother, Mother, I am from a cowherd village. We go barefoot. This is our nature. This is how we will do. So then, mother, she had to put this away. But then, when Krishna came with all the calves to go out, at every single house in the village, they stopped him and they did arti and they put mantras on him and they put so much sandal paste on. He had so much ceremony just trying to get into the forest. They were all little boys trying to go into the forest. Finally, after midday, they get into the forest. Almost as soon as they got into the forest, then servants from Nanda Baba and Yashodama, they came with all prashadam for them. They made them sit in lines, like schoolboys. You all have to sit down. They're losing all their freedom with all these servants coming, telling them how to behave. And then they serve them very opulent prashadam and so on. And then the servant said, now you just go a little way and then immediately you come back. So this is how the Krishna's cowherd grazing be, but it began in this village called Basant. So this is how old Krishna was, 4 years old from leaving Gokul. We should know the map. Gokul is on the other side of Jamuna. Now Krishna has come across the Jamuna into the forest of Vrindavan, and through the forest of actually the forest of Vrindavan is like a V, and the top of the V is Giriraj Govardhan. That's Vrindavan. Then you have Bahulavan, Talvan, Kadirvan off to the side. And you have Bandiravan, Badaravan, Bailvan off to the other side. So you have these other forests around. But it's like a V shaped with Govardhan at the top, like the tilak of Braj. So then they're traveling through with all their cows, and then they circumambulate Govardhan. And then Rishabhana Maharaj, he goes off to Varshana. Varshana is these four beautiful hills which are Lord Brahma's heads. Lord Brahma, he prays for the benediction to actually have Krishna walk on his body. So he gets the benediction of being these parvats, these different parvats of Varshana. And then Vrishabhana Maharaj, and uh, sometimes it's described that Sri Radha has already manifested by the time they come to Varshana. And sometimes it's described she takes her birth in Ravel. So there's two descriptions. There's Ravel, her manifesting, and in Varshana. And then from Varshana, then Nanda Baba, he goes on. Whose head is he standing on? Whose head is Nanda Baba making his palace on? Nanda. Huh? Nandeshwara. The Lord of Nandi, who is Shivji. Yes. So Shivji has been given that beautiful um, service to host Krishna on his head. So that is the home of Krishna there. And then there's a whole nother massive occasion on Gopastami when Krishna takes the cows out. That is even because the first demon that Krishna kills in the pasturing grounds, almost on the second or third day, was Bakasura. They saw this massive demon, this what do you call this bird? What's the bird called? Crane. Yes, this crane. And after Krishna had bifurcated his mouth, because this crane swallowed Krishna, and all the Cowherd boys were practically dead in separation. And then Krishna told them, don't tell anybody that we've just killed this demon, because he thought if everyone in the village know we killed this demon, they won't let us come tomorrow. But Krishna had a long-term agenda. Gurudev described actually when Krishna was very young, even 1.5 years old, he knew that his brother was bigger and more beautiful and stronger and would take all the attention of all the gopis. So Krishna had to devise a plan. How will I get the attention of the gopis? So he decided to play the flute. At 1.5 years old, he decided, yes, if I play the flute, then my brother Balaram, he won't take all the gopis away. I will also be able to attract them. Because we know the flute sound can enter into any of the private chambers, the private courtyards of the ladies. So this is how Krishna. So these are aspects of Krishna's Braj Leela. But don't think that um, it's going to, because I just finished this verse. Weeping and weeping, I have fallen at your lotus feet, greatly overwhelmed. Did I read all that fourth verse? I read it again. Now, in old age, I have become afflicted by the diseases of the five senses. And then it's described what are the five diseases, these kleshas. We said the other night we wanted to say that verse, that what is sadhan bhakti, what is bhav bhakti, what is prem bhakti. And this verse, klesh agni. Agni means what? Fire. Klesh, suffering. What are these five sufferings? And it's described here. These panch klesh. The first is avidya, ignorance. I'm uneducated. I don't understand what is what. I haven't had that fortune to receive any transcendental knowledge. So I'm in ignorance, avidya. And we should know how sweet is that vidya, that knowledge that we have something of, because it's described in Jivadhamma that because we don't have that bal shakti, that spiritual discrimination, we have to come to this world. But now we do have spiritual discrimination. Now we don't have to stay plonk in this material conception. We don't have to sit in this material consciousness. It's a foolish person. After he's heard this knowledge, he goes back into again eating the, forbidden fruits of material life. So there's ignorance. And then the false ego, this ashmita. This is the second klesh, this ashmita. How to purify this? It's false. Why am I so attached to this false conception? It's false. This material bodily conception isn't who I really am. It's like my machine that I'm just driving on, just like a car. A car is not us. Often when two drivers hit, oh, you hit me. Not me. The car's hit. I'm inside the car. The soul is inside the body. We have to we have to make this discrimination. Even we've heard it a million times. Who is realized in this? Put your hand up. Who's realized in this? We hear it all the time. Even when Mahaprabhu was performing that incredible drama in Puri, he drew a line with his sand, with his toe in the sand, and said, right, all those who cannot control their senses, please stand on this side. You're not qualified to come in the drama. Those who have some control over your senses, you stand on this side and we can perform the drama with you. Everybody, headed by Advaita Acharya, they all went onto the side where they couldn't control their senses. All were like that. Because we are respectful to Maya Devi, we know her power, her potency of allurement. We have one little thing inside that is actually, or two things, or three things, or five things, that Maya Devi knows. Ah, I can catch you on this. And don't doubt she will bring it up in a subtle way or a gross way, whatever. Something will come. And oh, just that one thing that I thought, I was okay on, bang, it comes up. So we should be. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he used to say, you don't know how powerful Maya Devi is. You should respect Maya Devi. Not thinking, oh, that is inferior. It is inferior energy, but it's my attraction to that. Maya Devi only offers the attraction. I am the one who actually decides to go under the illusion. I've said many times, it's like holding onto a tree and shouting out, let go, let go, let go. Who's holding? Oh, I am holding. I have the key in my hand, in my pocket. Take responsibility. That's what we have to do. We have to take, don't just pray, oh God, when will a miracle come and I'll be relieved of all my attachments? When will we take a step forward to properly cut these attachments? That takes some courage. Even the Christian mystics, they speak about this a lot. Having that courage to cut these material bindings. So this false ego. And then material attachment is another klesha, is another form of suffering. These five things, they bring the suffering. And this is rag, my material attachment. So I have to consider this attachment. And then aversion, dvesha. I hate this, I hate that, I hate this. All these things that we hate. We hate this group. We don't like this group. We don't like these people. We don't like that. This aversion mood is all on the false ego platform, ultimately. And then absorption in material objects, abhinivesh. So these are the five kleshas, which can be purified by our sadhan bhajan, which includes walking towards Gurudev very strongly, moment by moment. How do we cultivate that? We have to hear that. So today we're describing something through this beautiful bhajan of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes conclusively. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jagannath Das Babaji was his um, guru in Parampara, this Bhagavat Parampara. Actually, previously it was Bipin Bihari. He took in family life. And there's a beautiful story how when Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he goes to visit his family guru and he takes Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati with him. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he offers obeisances to his guru, which is formality. And then he has to go out of the room. And then his little son, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he challenges Bipin Bihari. He said, oh, you can digest the um, obeisances of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur? No, no, he's saying you can. I never heard that. Bipin Bihari, you mean put the foot on his head? Yeah, 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 same story. But he did. I didn't hear he said Kama Manjar. I read. Trouble is with the internet today, there are so many stories. But I read from Rupa Vilas in his book, The Seventh Goswami. That's where I take that praman from. I think he studied pretty good. So to be purified of these five anarthas, so to take the shelter of Sri Guru. is our life and soul, to enter Sri Vrindavan through the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So now we've covered everything, we can go home. Right? What else is there to say? No. So now we should sing. Where is Mamata today? Oh, Nityananda. Yeah, she's going to sing. She needs microphone. Can you give her microphone? Akhileshji, can you give Mamata mic? What are you going to sing? Akroda? Any Nityananda song. Nityananda is so merciful. Oh, you're going to stand and sing? She needs some help? Our memory. Yes. Yes. In this book, it's on page 58, if anyone has this yellow book. By the way, we're going to stop at 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll sing some more bhajans, and then 4 o'clock we'll have arti, and then just a brief, not so long arti today. Where's Radha Prashad? And then at 4:15 we'll take prashadam, and 5 o'clock. I have to catch a plane, so I have to go. Good excuse, huh? So. And Akhilesh has to get back to Dortmund also.
Nita pada kamala Koti Chanda Susitala
Nita
pada kamala Koti Chanda Susitala Ye Chaya Jaga Yudaya Ye Chaya Jagat Yudaya Ye Chaya Jagat Yudaya Ye Chaya Jagat Yudaya He nani tai vineba Radha Krishna paitna He nani tai vineba Radha Krishna paitna Didra kare dada Nichai pa Drina Koridaro Nitai Ye Chaya Yagat Yudaya Ye Chaya Yagat Yudaya Se Zambana Ngajigara Vedamine Gilatara Se Zambana Nahi Jaga Brita Janmo Gelotara Se Pasu Bada Duracha Se pasu baro duracha Se pasu bada durachara Se pasu baro durachara Nitai nabali mukhe Majila samsara sukhe Nita Lila Mukhe Magila Samsara Sukhe Duje Kyale Kaka Libeta Hara Vidya Kule Kiko Libeta Pasubada Durachara Sei Pasubada Durachara Ahankara Mata Haya Nite Pada Pasariya 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 Asachere Satya Karimani Asachere Satya Karimani Asachere Satya Karimani Asachere Satya Karimani Nitya Karuna Hobe Radha Radha Krishna Pabe Karuna Hobe Radha Radha Krishna Nitya Karuna Hobe Radha Radha Krishna Pabe Dhala Nitya Karana Dukani Dhala Nitya Karana Dukani Asachere Satya Karimani Nitya Karana Satya Tahara Seva Kalita Nitya Karana Satya Tahara Seva Kalita Nitya Pada Sada Koroa Asa Nitya Pada Sada Koroa Nitya Pada Sada Koroasa Nitya Pada Sada Koroasa Narotama Baladuki Nitya More Sada Duki Narotama Baladuki Nitya More Sada Duki Rakaranga Chara Nera Pasa Rakaranga Chara Nera Pasa Nitya Pada Sada Koroasa Nitya Pada Sada Koroasa Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram. Nitaye, 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 Haribo, 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 Hari, Hari, 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 Haribo, 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 Hari, Hari, Haribo, 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 Hari, Hari, Haribo. Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga, 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 Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura 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 Hari, Gaura 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 Hari, Gaura 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 Hari, Gaura 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 Hari, Jai Satchidananda Jai 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 Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, 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 Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga, Nitai, 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 Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaurari, Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaurari, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaurari, Nitai Gaurari, Haribo. Haribo, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai, Hari Bol. You have wonderful kirtans here. So nice. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Oh, now you have to read translation. Beto, give her some glasses. Give her some, somebody give her some glasses. You have glasses? Somebody have glasses? Yes? Give, give. And microphone.
Nitai's lotus feet are more cooling than the shining of millions of moons. Their shades give solace to the universe. Oh, brother, without a personality such as Nitai, it's not possible to attain Radha and Krishna. So hold on very tightly to his lotus feet.
What is the shade? What is in what is the analogy? The shade of the blazing fire of Davanagni, this blazing fire of material existence. Why is Nityananda giving us that mercy? Because he is a Kan Guru Mula Tattva. He is Guru,
Mhm,
all Nitya Ananda, full of bliss, eternally.
mhm,
This is our Nitai.
mhm,
Our Nitai always calls us like brother, because actually he is manifesting the jivas in their bodies.
mhm,
He's giving us this, when we see this Shakti of Guru, this body is actually manifested from Baladev Prabhu. So he's calling us like brother. There's millions of moons. How beautiful is that
mhm,
analogy of millions of moons? And not able to attain Radha and Krishna without these lotus feet.
mhm.
You cannot just walk into the kingdom of Braj and say hello, and they say, "Well, who are you? Who is your guru? Where have you come here?" Oh, I just came. I crashed the gates of heaven on my own. No, 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 no. You will fall down. Huh? But he has to be in, tune with Shiguru. Without Guru,
Yeah,
then
guru.
without Nityananda Prabhu. Actually, when we go to Radhakund, just in the center of Radhakund is Ananga Manjari's place, is
Mm,
Janava Devi's sitting place.
mm.
This is same, not different as Ananga Manjari. And who is Ananga Manjari? Coming from Baladev Prabhu.
Oh, yeah,
Because
Nityananda.
Baladev Prabhu, he
Baladev.
represents all the five rasas.
Mhm,
So he's in Shantaras, he's in Dasyaras as Krishna's servant, he's in
mhm,
Sakyaras as Krishna's friend, he's in Vatsalya Ras because he's the older brother,
mhm.
and he's also in Madhurya Ras in the form of Ananga Manjari.
Yeah.
And in that place, that altar, there is Gopinath, Radha, and Ananga Manjari is there. And then just out on the Kund itself is Janava Devi's sitting place. So it's all linked with
Mhm.
Guru.
Okay.
Yes. Nityananda. Ah,
Good first.
yes.
If someone has not yet established his relationship with Nityananda Prabhu, his life has been wasted. He is no better than an animal. Not taking the name of Nitai on one's lips, one becomes absorbed in the so-called happiness of this world. Then what is the value of one's education and birth in a high family or great nation? Wow,
Beautiful, huh?
beautiful.
Yeah.
Ah,
Without Nityananda's mercy, we are acting like animals.
mhm,
We have no loyalty. We have no affinity for that such gentle, powerful personality that can carry us across this ocean
mhm,
of material distress in the form of Guru. And Nityananda is that personality, that high. When we think of Nityananda, we always think of um, Ekachakra,
mhm.
this wonderful place where we can go and visit. All the kids in the street, they all shout Nitai, 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 Nitai. Just like in Radhakund, they all shout Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. But in Ekachakra, they all shout Nitai, Nitai, Nitai. And there's a whole special, merciful mood
Mhm,
in that place where Nityananda performed those amazing childhood pastimes. He would do so many dramas. He would enact out all Ram Leela. One time he was actually acting like he was dead. Remember?
mhm,
He was Lakshman, and he'd been killed by the arrow of Indrajit. And the Hanuman had forgotten to run to that Gandamana mountain and get that Sanjeevani to actually cure him. And then after his parents were becoming more and more morose, and then suddenly one wise man said, "Oh, what was he enacting? Oh, he was Lakshman. So how did Lakshman get cleared? Oh, that's Sanjeevani, that powerful herb from that Gandhamana mountain. How is Hanuman? Hanuman should quickly go." So Hanuman, he runs in the drama growth. Oh, here is this Sanjeevani. And then immediately, Nitai, he came to consciousness again with such bhav, such mood. They would perform these pastimes, these enactments of Krishna's Leela. So much into it. This is what we want to become as devotees, so much into it, not just peripheral. We have to go into it fully, absorb. Huh. Maddened?
Yes.
Yes.
Forgetting Nitai's lotus feet, one becomes maddened by the false concept of bodily life and considers this illusory energy as real. Receiving the mercy of Nitai, he can attain Sri Radha and Krishna in Braj, firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Nitai.
So you must have nice celebration here on Nityananda Trayodasi. It must be very beautiful. So many pastimes of Nityananda we remember on these days. But it's nice to always remember him daily.
Daily.
You know, you sing very nicely this bhajan. It's beautiful. Read some more. The last verse.
The feet of Nitai is real and service to him is eternal. Always hope and pray for the lotus feet of Nitai. Narottam is very unhappy. Oh Nitai, please make me happy. Keep me tucked close to your feet, which are like reddish lotuses.
So keeping touch,
Mhm.
close touched to the
Gurudev.
lotus feet of Nityananda is what we have been describing for the last hour, is our seva and focus on pleasing Sri Guru.
Mhm.
This is pleasing to Nityananda. But Nityananda is filled with such a sweet bhav. When he was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was always doing tricks. When Mahaprabhu wanted to actually go to Vrindavan, Nityananda was telling the cowherd boys, if this sadhu asks which way to Vrindavan, you point this way. And he was actually pointing back towards the Ganga. And they did a whole circle around. And they came back all of a sudden. Advaita Acharya is there. And Mahaprabhu is thinking, oh, this is Jamuna. He says, oh, what are you doing in Braj? Oh, then Advaita started to break the illusion that actually what Nitai had created with these cowherd boys. And Nityananda, when he was living in Navadvip, he was staying at the house of Srivas Pandit. And he was accepting Malini, Srivas' wife, as his complete mother. Even though he was, 30 years old, he was still taking the breast milk of Malini. And Malini was happily giving that because he was just like a little child. So many. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All in Chaitanya Bhagavat, these beautiful, because Vrindavan Das Thakur, his Ishtadev is actually Nityananda Prabhu. He's always glorifying on every page is Nitai, 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 Nitai. This is Vrindavan Das Thakur. Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 Yes. 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 This is the mercy of Nitai. Yes. Yes. With this mercy, like it's saying here, Heno Nita Bine Radha Krishna, we can enter Braj with this mercy alone. This powerful, heavy mercy. We need the heavy mercy. Okay, last verse. Oh, you read the lotus. You read the
Yes.
last verse.
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay.
Thank you.
Nityananda Prabhu
Prabhu
ki
ki
jai.
jai.
Dhanyavad, dhanyavad. So, as I said before, we're going to stop at 4. So we should honor one bhajan for Radha and Krishna. Whatever you want to. Yes, okay. Which one? Brajajanamana? What?
Bolo Radhe Radhe.
Radhanam.
It's Braj.
It's not in the book.
It's Braj.
Okay, I will listen.
No, you sing along. Please sing along.
But you have some translation to read the.
Well, you will understand it. It's very simple, plain Hindi.
Okay. Just a bow.
Yes. It is the glorification of Srimati Radhika. I will start first with Radha Madhava.
You stop
Okay, how much time do you have?
20 minutes until it's 4 o'clock.
Okay, I'll take,
And then it's RT after that.
okay, I'll take 19 and a half minutes.
Maybe half minutes.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya
Jaya Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya
Go, Premanandi. Jai Shishi Radha Krishna ki Jai.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have Arti, and then we will take
You have,
shout.
you don't want to speak enough?
A couple of minutes left. I
Yes.
just want to thank you all very much for coming and being here and listening. How can we speak Harikatha when no one is here to listen? And just to always remember what our beloved Gurudev expects from us now in our more mature years. Now, clock is ticking. All kinds of changes. We should not be disturbed that there are many different groups you have here in Amsterdam. It's actually a very positive thing. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. The only negative thing can be if you choose to criticize each other's group. When there are different groups, it's not a problem. Actually, if you look on the other side of the Jalangi into Mayapur, there are 6 or 7 different mats. We have the Gopinath Gaudiya Mat, then we have Bhakti Baita Madhav Maharaj's Mat, then we have Bhaktivedanta Swami's Mat, then we have Srila uh, um, um, who? Chaitanya Mat, yeah, all the way up, all the way up. There are different mats. Not a problem. We should learn to respect and live harmoniously. We have to nourish our own bhajan, our own lives now. And we've talked a little bit about the mode of goodness. The mode of goodness is somewhere where we can access. We can actually enter into that. It's not so far away. It's simply by having respectful dealings. If you personally have respectful dealings, then all people around you, the sun will come out, and all people will be respecting you also. And it'll feel very harmonious, and you can go forward and progress. But if there's criticism and dissension, and they're not so good, and he's not so good, and do you know that he did this and he did that, where will that lead anybody? Downing. Huh? Yeah, everything will go from us. We will be the losers. You know, Prabhupada said that famous one finger pointing and 3 are coming back here. So beware of this. No problem. Accept the situation that's happened, which is unfortunate, but it's happened. It's not a problem. And it will continue to happen in the world. Actually, in England, it's even more diverse. They don't even have groups, they just have individuals. And they're all looking at each other, you know? And in Russia, same. Many, many places, same. So don't be disturbed for this. You must see the sunshine, you must see the positivity in our own lives and in our own personal seva. We have Guru, we have Sadhu, we have Shastra, we have all these principles. They are there, very much alive. And Sri Guru is certainly alive for us, very, very powerfully. He's in our. Just when we come together and see each other's beautiful faces, what do we remember first? We remember first, oh, Srila Gurudev. This is what we remember first, the first thought that comes into mind, because we are all serving that personality. And Srila Prabhupada and our whole Guru Vargya. So don't be unhappy for this. Go forward strongly and see it as an opportunity to internalize more, to become contemplative, to take more serious shelter of Nam. We have to, otherwise we'll sink. And remember one thing that Srila Gurudev spoke every single time: don't become hopeless. Remember how many times he's saying this? What's this mean? It means you don't get the blues. You don't go into that area. This is not worth anything. It's like the swamp, you know. Stay far away from this. And if you have one or two nice associates that you feel very comfortable with, very free with, then you should be celebrating this. You don't need 50 or 60 or 70 people. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Maharaj, he said like this: if you have one or two people of a similar mood, of a similar nishta, swajatiya, shnigda, ashraya. Swajatiya means the same mood, swajatiya, shnigda, someone who is affectionate to you. And ashraya, if we're always feeling that person is more senior, if we have that feeling, this is a wonderful sangha. And if it consists of just 2 or 3 people, even in family life, if we just make our family around that mood of like an ashram. So go forward with full happiness and joy and celebrate the gifts that our Gurudev has given to us. There is nothing negative except what I want to invent. Actually, everything is completely positive for the Vaishnava, for the devotee. There's no difficulties. So don't be any disturbed with the different groups. And you have amazing kirtan here in Amsterdam. It's very
Rotterdam.
inspiring. Rotterdam. Oh, yeah. I always think of Holland as Holland, and it's all included in there because you all move around. Anyway, thank you very much for tolerating me, and thank you very much for coming. I'm very I will come back in November. On November 16, 17, and 18, I will be one day with Raghava Pandit on 18, so 16 and 17, just to check on your nishta, your temperature, to see how you're doing. Yeah. Okay.
So you will cheat us one day?
Always, always, always.
Yes,
Never trust the sadhu.
Krishna's devotee are
Oh,
very
he's cheating.
chatur.
Always cheating. Okay. Okay.
Sripad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj ki jai.
Vaishnavas ki jai.
Yeah.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha. Kripa sindhubhyascha. Patitanam pavanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo. Dhanyavad. Hare Krishna. Run Prasad. 15-minute arti.
Yes, yes, Maharaj. Yes.
You have clock?
I will look at you. Bhakti Jano. Hari. Maharaj. Out. Hari. मैं microphone. की बजायो आरती जयो
Gopati Chandani Madana Rupa Galade Sevana Mala Kore Galama Galade Sevana Mala Kore Galama Shiva Sukhanarada Shiva Sukhanarada Vemagada Gada Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gaura Samada Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gaura Samada Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Yugala Mela Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Yugala Mela Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Yugala Mela Bharati Karo Bharati Karo Elali Kadi Sakhiga Bharati Karo Elali Kadi Sakhiga Bharati Karo Elali Kadi Sakhiga Madana Mohana Rupa Madana Mohana Rupa Vibhaga Sundara Madana Mohana Rupa Madana Mohana Rupa Vibhaga Sundara Vidamara Kine Pura Jura Vidamara Sikhi Pucha Jura Lalita Madhava me Vishamanu Kanya Lalita Madhava me Lalita Madhava me Vishamanu Kanya Nila Vasana Govi Nila Vasana Govi Ruperuna Danya Vanaga Vidhaya Nikare Kore Jalama Vana Vidhala Kare Kore Jalama Vana Vidhala Kare Kore Jalama Hare Manavi Mohana Madana Uta Hare Manavi Mohana Madana Uta Visakadi Sakhi Gana Nana Deka Viyananga Sakhi Jata Jamara Dulai Jamara Dulai Jamara Dulai Radha Krishna Ati Kore Jamara Dulai Jai Jai Sri Radhe Bole Jamara Dulai Radhe 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 Bole Jamara Dulai Viyananga Sakhi Jata Jamara Dulai Lalita Vikatayadi Jamara Dulai Sri Raja Madhava Jaya Siyayate Bhakti Vinoda Sakhi Vada Sukhamate Radhe Radhe Govinda Jaya Radhe 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 Govinda Jaya Radhe Radhe Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Gopala Jaya Radha Ramani Govinda Jaya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare
Madan Mohan Radhe.
Jaya Radha Govinda Radha
Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe.
Jaya Radha Govinda
Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Jaya Radha Vinodi Hare
Jai Radha Vinod Bihari, Radha Vinod Bihari Radhe.
Radhe Radhe
Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Jai Vishwamanunagin, Radhe Radhe, Vishwamanunagin, Radhe Radhe. Jaya Giri Radha, Jaya Govardhana, Giri Radha, Jaya Govardhana. Radha Kunda Jai, Radha Kunda Jai Jai Gauranita, Jai Gauranita, Gauranita, Jai Gauranita. Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Juki Jai.
Jai. Jai. Jai. Hare ki Jai. Ke Jai. Nan ke Jai. Ke Jai. Gopis Maharaj ki Jai.
जय